Right now, the government shutdown enters a record day 23. How soon we could see a deal and more local impacts if we don't get one soon. Plus, as the prices of prescription drugs continues to go up, how you can save large amounts of money. And if you're sick of those stink bugs invading your home, you are not alone. We'll tell you why they're probably not going anywhere anytime soon.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is January 13th. I'm Josh Breiter, and I want to wish a very happy birthday to my partner in crime, meteorologist Chris Reese.
Well, thank you, Josh. It's a great day.
Yes.
I love this.
And you had
Thank
a little bit of
much.
a birthday present yesterday. You had to travel a little bit.
I did. I went down, chased some snow down in Iowa and Illinois. Absolutely a fantastic time.
Only you would chase snow.
I know, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. We haven't had that here in Wisconsin, so my eyes were set south, oddly enough. Let's go ahead and look at where the storm is right now. And for the most part, it is finally beginning to wind down. Parts of Illinois and Iowa that I was in yesterday, now starting to see that snow move on out of that area. Places like Cincinnati still have some light snow falling, along with some snow still falling as you work your way towards parts of eastern Virginia and Maryland. But overall, we are starting to see those winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings all get trimmed back in time as the storm continues to wind down. For us, we're still dealing with the cloud cover here in south central Wisconsin. A lot of that is actually some lake effect cloud cover. Winds are coming out of the east and northeast. You're seeing that warmer air over the lakes kind of rise and cool off as it comes over land. And so we will continue to see some cloud cover from that today. No snow, though. 28 degrees right now. Winds out of the north and northeast at 8 miles per hour. Will warm up to 32 by lunchtime and eventually top out this afternoon. Not too much warmer, right around 33 degrees, but still that's pleasant for this time of the year. Temperature should typically be around 25.
It was amazing how close we were to that snow.
Oh yeah, and it's possible that we could see something similar to that again. And the pattern that we're going into, I think we'll hear about these storms much more frequently.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in just a little bit.
Sounds
Thank you.
good.
Well, developing overnight, Madison police are currently investigating two shootings. The first happened on the city's east side around 9:15 last night. Officers responded to the 1200 block of MacArthur Road after multiple calls of gunshots in that area. They found a man on scene with a single non-threatening gunshot wound and multiple shell casings. They say the suspect got away in an unknown vehicle. Then, around 3:45 this morning, officers responded to another call on Madison's north side in the 800 block of Wheeler Road. Multiple callers again reported hearing gunshots in that area. A home was hit by a bullet and several shell casings were also found at the scene. No one was injured this time. Anyone with information on either shooting is asked to call Madison Police or the Madison Area Crime Stoppers. It is day 23 of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, and some of Wisconsin's many beer makers could be feeling its effect. WPR reports the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau is one of the agencies not operating as Congress works to approve a spending plan. As a result, startup breweries, distilleries, and wineries are waiting for permits. Producers are usually timing up those permits with facility construction and a sales launch, which means all of that could be pushed back or affect initial profits. On top of that, once the Bureau reopens, it's expected to work through a significant backlog. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are not getting their paychecks either. Leaders in Congress are home for the weekend, so no deal is expected again today. The last talks happened Friday when President Trump hosted a roundtable on border security with state and local authorities. Neither congressional Democrats or the president appear ready to cave.
800,000 federal employees and all American citizens are held hostage. When do we come together and say enough?
We need to push pause on requesting specific conditions before talks resume. We need to lay down our swords.
The House joined the Senate in voting to ensure federal employees receive back pay once the shutdown ends. About half of the federal workers who aren't getting paychecks, like those who guard the border and TSA employees, remain on the job. The U.S. military withdrawal from Syria is underway this weekend. Colonel Sean Ryan says the process of our deliberate withdrawal from Syria has begun, adding out of concern for operational security, they will not discuss specific timelines, locations, or troop movements. President Trump's decision in December to withdraw American forces because ISIS was defeated triggered the resignation of Defense Secretary James Mattis. Turkey has threatened to attack the Kurds, who have been America's partners on the ground in the war against ISIS in Syria. Back in Wisconsin, State Representative Jimmy Anderson is filing a lawsuit to void the bills passed during the lame duck session. A crash in 2010 left Anderson paralyzed. He can't sit in his chair for more than a day without health problems. He says on the day of the vote, he was on the assembly floor at the time scheduled by Republican leadership, waiting to vote on the proposed legislation. He says after waiting more than 8 hours, he had to go home and get out of his chair. He woke up the next day to see the legislature began the special session after a 14-hour delay at 4 a.m. with almost no warning.
And I think that there is a significant public interest in ensuring that individuals with disabilities are able to fully participate in the legislative process. I think that the court would find that a much more compelling argument rather than saying, well, maybe this person's vote would or would not change the overall outcome. What's important is that people with disabilities actually have the ability to fully participate in the process.
A coalition of liberal-leaning groups has filed a lawsuit seeking to void laws passed by Wisconsin Republicans that reduce the powers of the newly elected Democratic governor. Conservative attorney Rick Essenberg says the lawsuit faces long odds because courts are unlikely to aggressively interpret the law and inject themselves into the legislative process. Wisconsin's first African-American lieutenant governor will be the keynote speaker at the University of Wisconsin's Martin Luther King Day celebration later this month. The university announced Mandela Barnes will speak at the Great Hall at the Memorial Union during the celebration on January 21st. That is 1 week from tomorrow. Prior to becoming lieutenant governor, Barnes served as the chair on the state assembly's Black and Latino caucus during his time as a state representative. 6:37 is your time right now. Wisconsin is currently ranked third in the nation when it comes to human trafficking. There's a Milwaukee-based nonprofit working to make sure parents and teens don't forget that. Lacey's Hope Project now has a dozen billboards spreading awareness about the issue. The campaign is called Your Suburbs Are Not Safe, stressing that sex trafficking can happen anywhere to anyone. One of those reads, "You can order her faster than a pizza." The billboards will be up through the end of the month, but the campaign itself will continue online for the whole year. The city of Madison is offering nearly $25,000 in grants this year to help residents clean up and develop their neighborhoods. The grants could also cover new meeting places and leadership groups. According to city officials, the program has helped create more than 300 projects since 1999. We have what you need to apply at channel3000.com. If you live on Madison's north side, there's an opportunity for you to share ideas for the plan to revamp the area around the former Oscar Mayer plant. There are plans to improve transportation, including a discussion to include that area in the city's bus rapid transit system. New pedestrian and bike paths are also part of that plan. City leaders are prioritizing living wage jobs, youth programs, affordable housing, and space for locally owned businesses in that area. There's a public hearing at the Plan Commission's meeting tomorrow night at 5:45. There's a chance for rural classrooms to get upwards of $25,000 for science, math, and technology projects. The organization America's Farmers is accepting nominations for its Grow Rural Education grant program. Past winners have spent the money on equipment to teach students with hearing and vision loss about ecosystems and a 3D printer that middle schoolers use to create a prosthetic arm for a farmer in their community. You can nominate a school by going to americasfarmers.com. After nearly 2 years of talk, several Clinton schools are about to get some upgrades. The Janesville Gazette reports the school board approved a $42 million package passed by voters last year. It calls for closing the district's elementary and middle schools to build a new 4K through a 6th grade campus next to the high school. 7th and 8th graders would have classes in the high school building. There's an impact on property taxes. For every $100,000 in property, taxes will go up just over $20 a month. Well, you'll have to head to Milwaukee soon if you want a last look at the Bradley Center. Contractors will use a targeted explosive to demolish some of the remaining roof there later this morning. As a precaution, crews have installed vibration motors at historic Turner Hall across the street. The Bradley Center will be soaked with water to help with the dust. The Bucks played at the Bradley Center for 30 years before moving to the Pfizer Forum. We'll stream the demolition on the WISC-TV Channel 3000 Facebook page. Well, if you've noticed more stink bugs around your home in the past week, you are not alone. They awaken from the winter slumber when temps get near 50 degrees like they did earlier this week. But even on a sunny, colder day, they might get in. A UW Extension entomologist told the Journal Sentinel they don't bite, they're not poisonous, but they do stink. If you squish them in your hand, it's not a smell that washes away. Some reported stink bug hotspots are in Madison, Milwaukee, and the Fox Valley area. If they're already in your home, you really can't do much about it. Experts say the time to prepare is during the fall by closing gaps where insects can get in and spraying insecticide outside of your home. Americans spend more on drugs than people in any other country. The amount of out-of-pocket spending is projected to rise to $67 billion in 2025 from about $25 billion in 2000. Now, 2 new bills banning drug gag clauses can help reduce the cost. Consumer Reports has the way to save for cheaper meds, and as our Leah Linscheid explains, all you have to do is ask.
A March 2018 study found that for about 1 out of 5 prescriptions, insurers required people to pay more using their insurance than if they paid the pharmacy's retail price. One reason this happened, gag clauses. Those clauses prevented pharmacists from telling you there may be a lower price by not using your insurance. But not anymore.
Gag clauses were something that Consumer Reports surfaced about 5 years ago. We worked with a lot of state legislators to help pass state-by-state laws to help curtail this practice. And then, this past October, 2 bills were passed in Congress that put an end to this practice at a national level, which is a terrific win for consumers.
We can actually help the consumer a whole lot more. For example, last night, a lady came in for an antibiotic ointment. We filled it, ran it through her insurance. It was $192. Put it through for the cash price, and it was just $15.
The number one thing to do is ask, is this the lowest possible price on my medication? There are some other ways to be money smart with meds, and Consumer Reports health editor Lisa Gill breaks them down.
Make sure that you're taking a generic. Generics are a terrific option for most people and will save you boatloads of money. Ask, hey, can I get a 3-month prescription or a 90-day fill instead of just a 30-day fill? You typically can save at least 1 copay, sometimes 2.
Another way to put the power in your pocketbook. Check out websites that offer coupons. For WISC News 3, this is Leah Linscheid.
The U.S. News and World Report is out with its 2019 list of the best jobs in America. The rankings are based on 7 factors, including median salary, future job prospects, stress level, and work-life balance. Software developer tops the list. It's followed by statistician, physician assistant, and dentist. The median salary for a software developer is more than $101,000. The number of jobs in that field is expected to increase by nearly 1/3 by 2026. Tickets go on sale this week to see the Piano Man himself in person. Singer and songwriter Billy Joel will perform at Miller Park this spring. The Brewers announced he'll perform on Friday, April 26th. It is Joel's first trip to Milwaukee in 11 years and his first time ever at Miller Park. Tickets go on sale tomorrow to American Express card holders, and they'll be available to the general public this Friday. 6:43 this morning. More quiet weather is on the way for us today. Here's a live look outside this morning as we wake up on this Sunday. Still dark out there. Meteorologist Chris Reese is in next with your full First Alert forecast. This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Well, pretty much all weekend long, we have been talking about a pretty massive storm across much of the country already, though. That's beginning to wind down and move off towards the east. Some of that snow across the upper Midwest finally coming to an end, but we still at least see some snowflakes flying across parts of Missouri and into Illinois as we speak. But here's the snow depth. And it's almost insulting just how close that is. Just to the south, we see a massive swath of snow as we zoom in across the upper Midwest. That even includes extreme southern Wisconsin. But between Madison and Eau Claire, we are snow-free. There's very little, if any, snow on the ground in some spots. Temperature-wise, though, we are seeing them mainly into the middle and upper 20s this morning, and we'll continue to keep them there thanks to the cloud cover. It's really held temperature steady throughout yesterday and into today as well. In fact, 28 degrees right now in Madison. We do have those winds coming out of the north and northeast at about 8 miles per hour. But you're heading out today. Here's how that's going to shape up for you. We're going to be fairly calm. We might see some cloud cover coming in from the north and east in addition to any kind of cloud cover out there now. I do think by the afternoon the cloud cover will try to break up a bit. 30 degrees as we reach lunchtime, topping out around 32 to 33 degrees for your highs today. The clouds do all thin out towards dinner, and that will allow temperatures to drop tonight. We're going all the way down to about 21 degrees. Winds will be turning, though, out of the south and southwest. That'll actually shape things up for a little bit of a warmer Monday on tap. In fact, Monday begins at least a couple days of warmer weather. We could be close to 40 as we head into your Tuesday, but then the first cold front comes in by Wednesday and we get colder from there. In fact, let me go ahead and show you guys the cold air up around the poles. Watch how this is on the move. Remember I said that first cold front comes in on Wednesday. You see how close that colder air is, and then watch what happens towards the end of the month, folks. It comes on down into the eastern half of the country, regenerates. We'll see several shots of some of that colder air. In fact, the next 6 to 10 days, we are very likely to see temperatures that are below average, and in terms of precipitation, we actually do have at least a decent probability of being above average for precipitation for a lot of the country over the next 6 to 10 days. Can that bring snow chances? Of course, we will watch that one very closely. But in the meantime, expect a dry couple of days. A snow chance does return as we get you towards next weekend, along with Martin Luther King Day with the chance of light snow. Temperatures by that time, by the way, only getting to about 20 degrees. And I do think some single digits will begin to show up very soon.
I figured that cold air had to be coming at some point.
It did, and we might as well get some snow on the ground while we have it.
There you go. All right, Chris. Thank you. Well, as our temperatures this winter continue to fluctuate, homeless shelters in Madison are welcoming more people. Porch Light isn't turning anyone away, and they've made sure to open their overflow spaces to make sure they have the room. This year, they're working with the day shelter to make sure there is always a place to go.
We recently changed our hours to coincide with the beacon so that our guests are out in the cold as little as possible. Literally, the time that the beacon closes is the time that we open, and vice versa in the morning.
Right now, Porch Light is working to gear up for their guests for when they aren't in the shelter, collecting things like coats, hats, gloves, and boots. Well, the days are slowly getting longer, but this morning there is a warning from AAA. Nearly half of all car accidents take place at night. Experts believe cloudy headlights are part of the problem. A AAA study found cloudy or yellow headlights generate 20% of the light new headlights do, and damage can start in just 3 to 5 years. The most effective solution is to replace old headlights with new ones, but obviously that can cost hundreds of dollars. Another option is a do-it-yourself kit, which can restore the original lights to 70%. 6:51 is your time right now, and it's one of the biggest cleanup projects ever launched. Environmentalists are picking nearly 2 trillion pieces of plastic out of the Pacific Ocean. We'll have the latest on their mission and the lasting effect it could have when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns. Welcome back at 6:54 this morning. It was launched on a mission to skim nearly 2 trillion pieces of plastic from the Pacific Ocean. But the $20 million boom has gone bust. Carter Evans spoke with the inventor.
The 2,000-foot-long ocean cleanup system left San Francisco last September with high expectations. The plan was to begin cleaning up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a giant floating mass twice the size of Texas. But now, after months at sea, there are some major setbacks, says 24-year-old Dutch inventor Boyan Slat.
Did the pipe itself crack?
So we see a 60-foot section of the 2,000 feet long pipe that has detached.
It's a vast area.
Just before the launch, Slat took us out on the water, and he had some reservations.
Are you sure it will work?
No. That's what we'll see in the coming months, right?
During that time, the device floated freely with the currents, forming a U-shape to corral the trash. A skirt about 10 feet deep was supposed to catch the plastic, but that also didn't go as planned.
The system isn't able to retain the plastic well. So once it's caught, we also sometimes see it floating out again.
It picked up 4,500 pounds of trash. Not nearly enough, according to some critics.
You'll have more plastics there next week and the week after. So the real answer is to not consume so many plastics.
Despite these setbacks, do you think this is still a viable system?
We are really quite close to making it work. I don't think we have much choice. This plastic doesn't go away by itself.
The massive cleanup device is currently being towed to Hawaii, where the team will decide if any design changes need to be made. They hope to be back out in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in the next few months. Carter Evans, CBS News, Malibu.
It is 6:56 right now. There's a full hour of real news ahead on News 3 This Morning Sunday. We'll have the latest on the Jamie Kloss case from northern Wisconsin, plus the investigation into 2 shootings from overnight. But first, here's a preview of what's to come in an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Neil Heinen, and today on For the Record, we're going to preview a new addition to the observance of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. We will introduce the first Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Forum for Social Action with organizer, Middleton Cross Plains Area School District Director of Equity and Student Achievement, Percy Brown. And that's coming up this morning at 10:30.
A series of sexual abuse scandals plagued the Catholic Church last year, and now there's new information about alleged abuse of women by nuns. We'll take a look inside the ongoing investigation.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
And a very good morning to you, and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7 in the morning on January 13th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Reese will have your latest forecast in just a moment, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. It is day 23 of the longest shutdown in U.S. history, and President Trump is turning to social media in an effort to pressure Democrats into reaching a deal. Trump fired off a series of tweets Saturday saying Democrats could solve the shutdown in 15 minutes, calling it a humanitarian crisis. Congress has adjourned until next week, and so far Democrats have denied Trump's request for more than $5 billion to fund a border wall. The president is threatening to declare border security a national emergency, which would sidestep Congress and get him money for his wall. Right now, the U.S. military withdrawal from Syria is underway. Colonel Sean Ryan says the process of our deliberate withdrawal from Syria has begun, adding out of concern for operational security, they will not be discussing specific timelines, locations, or troop movements. President Trump's decision in December to withdraw American forces because ISIS was defeated triggered the resignation of Defense Secretary James Mattis. There's a new warning from AAA this morning. Nearly half of all car accidents take place at night. Experts believe cloudy headlights are part of the problem. A AAA study found cloudy or yellow headlights generate 20% of the light new headlights do, and damage can start in just 3 to 5 years. The most effective solution is to replace old headlights with new ones, but that can obviously cost hundreds of dollars. Another option is a do-it-yourself kit, which can restore the original lights to 70%. Tickets go on sale this week to see the Piano Man live at Miller Park. Billy Joel returns to Milwaukee this spring on Friday, April 26th. He hasn't been to Milwaukee in 11 years and has never performed at Miller Park. American Express cardholders can get their tickets starting tomorrow. The rest will be available to the general public on Friday. 7:02 is your time right now. Meteorologist Chris Reese remains kind of bored in that weather center, hoping for some snow. Good morning, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, Josh. That storm that we've been talking about all weekend now kind of falling apart just to the south. You still see at least some snowflakes flying across parts of central Illinois, back into central Missouri as well. But northern Illinois, Iowa, that snow starting to move out of the region. So if you do have any travel plans that direction today, travel conditions should be improving. In fact, all of the winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories that were in effect for this area have come down, which is of course good news. Now here in Wisconsin, we're going to be dealing with that cloud cover kind of feeding in from Lake Michigan. You have that warm air over the lake kind of pulling over the cold ground that we have in Wisconsin. Even though it's a bare ground, it's still cold, and that's allowing some of that cloud cover to form. So do expect another gray day there. I do think we might see some peaks of sunshine into the afternoon though. Cloudy right now, the temperature at 28 degrees. Those winds out of the east and northeast at 12 miles per hour. We'll warm up to 32 by lunchtime, staying on a mostly cloudy and cooler note, topping out around 33 degrees as we head into the afternoon, Josh.
Thanks, Chris. The world continues to watch developments in northern Wisconsin, where 13-year-old Jamie Kloss is home safe this weekend. We're now learning more about the investigation into Jake Patterson, the 21-year-old accused of killing Jamie's parents and kidnapping her. This is aerial video showing the home where Patterson allegedly held Jamie against her will. In an interview Saturday with CNN, Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald says they're trying to pinpoint Patterson's routine during the last 3 months. He also says they don't believe she was ever taken across state lines, but do believe Jamie was targeted. They just don't know why.
It was a random act by the suspect, but it was a very well planned out attack on the Kloss home. There's no evidence that we can uncover that the suspect knew the Klosses, was at the Kloss home, had any contact with them, worked with them, sent emails to them, Facebook. There doesn't seem to be any connection between Mr. Patterson and the Kloss family at all.
Detectives are reportedly now looking into the criminal history of Patterson's brother, 24-year-old Eric Patterson. He's a convicted sex offender and at one time lived in the same home in Gordon where Jamie escaped from. Right now, Sheriff Fitzgerald says investigators are still on scene in Gordon and bringing back evidence to Barron and the crime lab in Madison. He says the randomness of the incident is what's been tough about this case.
we were always looking for a connection. Somebody was connected to the Kloss family. It had to be somebody they worked with. It had to be a family member. It had to be a friend. It had to be a just Facebook stalker or something like that. And I think this was truly a random act that was well planned out. And when you take those two, they don't mix. We thought about that last night, and like that random act is really what we struggled with on this case.
We're also getting another glimpse of Jamie free and spending her first nights with her family since being released from a Duluth hospital. Her aunt Jennifer Smith posted on Facebook Saturday that she had, quote, a pretty good night's sleep. She also shared these new photos of her first morning with Jamie waking up in her own bed. Just take a look at that. Resting there with her dogs. Smith says it felt great to know Jamie was finally next to her all night. Support for Jamie continues to grow around the world. In less than 24 hours, a Facebook fundraiser surpassed its $50,000 goal. The goal was initially set up for $10,000, but with so many donations, it was bumped up to $50,000. If you would like to help, you can donate by contacting any branch of Sterling Bank of Wisconsin and asking to donate to the Kloss Family Benefit Fund. 6 minutes past 7 right now. Governor Tony Evers and First Lady Kathy Evers welcomed Wisconsinites to the People's House this weekend for the first time since taking office. Hundreds of people walked through the grounds. Evers says they saw people from all over the state. He plans to meet with the legislature on Tuesday to build relationships during the current session.
I am a candidate for President of the United States of America.
A new 2020 presidential contender has entered the race. Julian Castro made the announcement in his hometown of San Antonio, where he served as mayor from 2009 to 2014. His term ended when President Obama tapped him to become the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Castro says he's running to ensure a more equitable future for the nation. CBS News has learned of several cases involving nuns accused of sexual misconduct. Nikki Batiste has been talking to women who say they were victimized.
This is Sister Shaw?
Yes, this is Sister Eileen Shaw.
This is the nun Trish Cahill says she confided in when she was 15 years old.
I would have done anything for her. I would have died for her.
At a convent in New Jersey, she says she told Eileen Shaw things she'd never revealed to anyone about her now deceased uncle, a priest, whom she claims sexually abused her starting at age 5.
She gave me everything that was lacking that I didn't even know I was lacking. I was so broken. She filled in all those pieces.
She now describes that process as grooming, saying Shaw plied her with drugs and alcohol while teaching her how to have sex with a woman.
I'm with my friends during the day, and I'm with this pedophile nun on the evenings and on the weekends and in the summer.
Pedophile nun is a phrase I think most of our viewers will have never heard.
Really? Wow. That's really a shame because there's a lot of them out there. It's the secret not yet told.
Mary Dispenza is trying to change that.
The demands of chastity and celibacy are unrealistic demands for many of us.
Dispenza, a former nun from another congregation, remembers what happened when a superior summoned her to her room.
I knelt down right next to her, and she kissed me all over softly my face. And I want to say, oh, but it wasn't bad. But it was, and I've carried it with me till today.
Through her work with SNAP, the survivors network of those abused by priests, she says she would occasionally hear about abuse or cover-ups by nuns. But since the publication of a grand jury report identified hundreds of pedophile priests in Pennsylvania, at least 18 people have contacted her to share stories of abuse by religious sisters.
We've heard so much about alleged child sex abuse by priests. Why haven't we heard about nuns?
A lot has to do with the culture of nuns, they are very, very private by nature.
Trish Cahill reported her abuse to the Sisters of Charity of St. Elizabeth in 1994. The congregation paid her a $70,000 out-of-court settlement.
They had canon lawyers on retainer just for people like me. Shut her up, pacify her, tell her you love her and you'll pray for her, and send her on her way.
In a statement, the congregation tells CBS News the case was investigated immediately when it was reported in 1994, and a settlement was reached that was mutually agreed on by all parties. We believe that the Sisters of Charity acted in a responsible manner.
Hi, is this Eileen?
We reached out to Sister Eileen Shaw, who Cahill says she continued to see for years as an adult.
You don't wish to discuss this at all? She just hung up.
The Sisters of Charity removed her from her role as a grade school principal, but report she remains a nun. They're providing her with food and housing while restricting her from outside ministry.
I think it's really sad.
In the meantime, Cahill says the settlement she signed wasn't enough to help her deal with a lifetime of trauma.
What is your hope?
That this is the beginning of many, many times more that I get to speak, and I get to educate, and I get to possibly prevent this from happening to anyone ever again.
CBS's Nikki Batiste reporting. It is now 7:11 on this Sunday morning. We're waking up with quiet weather here in southern Wisconsin, and it's going to be staying pretty quiet as we head into the work week. Here's a live look outside as we wake up. Finally, some daylight out there. Chris is tracking the latest in his first alert forecast when News 3 This Morning is back.
We are waking up to another morning of cloudy skies here in south central Wisconsin, but I do think we might at least see some sunshine as we head into the afternoon. At least we will head into your Monday. But the big storm that brought us the cloud cover now starting to move out of the picture. We're going to continue to watch that move on away from us going through the day, but Folks, just to the south, this really put down some snow. Some parts of Missouri recorded over 19 inches of snow from this storm. Of course, that's more snow than we've ever seen from one single storm here in Wisconsin. So what a record breaker this storm certainly was. And again, it was extremely close just to our south, but again, we did stay dry. We're going to continue to stay dry, at least going through the next couple to even several days. Temperature-wise, for the most part, we are all in the middle to upper 20s, and then there are a few low 30s showing up across the state right now. Here in Madison, though, we're cloudy. The temperature 28 degrees. Those winds are coming out of the east and northeast at 12 miles per hour. So occasionally you step out, and yes, it is a little bit brisk at times, but overall warmer compared to where we typically should be for this time of the year. Usually temperatures right now are close to about 10 to 11 degrees. 30 degrees, though, is where we'll be as we approach lunchtime. We'll continue to see some cloud cover streaming in off of Lake Michigan. I think we'll see some of those breaks in the cloud cover later on once the sun kind of begins to set, so closer towards sunset. But that clearing sky tonight will allow temperatures to drop towards about 21 degrees or so. Winds then turn out of the south and southwest. It's going to shape things up for a warmer Monday. Temperatures are going to be making it into the middle and upper 30s, and we could even see temperatures closer to 40 into Tuesday. But then we have a cold front coming through. That is going to be the first of several cold fronts that are really going to impact our weather. That colder air up near the poles is on the move. Here we are on Wednesday. Watch how that cold air really takes hold of the eastern half of the country. And so it is very likely that we'll see temperatures that are below average as we go through the next 6 to 10 days. It's also looking more and more likely that we'll see above average precipitation. That could actually mean that we will have better chances to lay down some snow on the ground here in Wisconsin. Of course, we'll watch that on a case-by-case basis. Each system can be different. But this morning, 28 to 32 degrees, topping out right around 33 this afternoon. That sunshine does last to at least start the week. We could have some flurries on Wednesday. We're watching another snow chance as we get you towards Friday as of now.
Halfway through January, winter had to come at some point.
It really did, and we will just hope it doesn't stick around till May this year like it has in years past.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, thank you. We have been asking you to share your morning with us, and we've got a great one for you. Kenton Fowler emailed us this picture. This is his take on a morning sunrise over Monona Bay. Just an incredible shot of downtown Madison right there. Thank you so much for sharing, Kenton. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it to Channel 3000's Facebook page, Instagram, or Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and that's how we can pick out our favorites and air them right here on The Morning Show. 7:17 is your time right now. Local hospitals are taking new precautions to prevent the flu from spreading, and this year's flu season continues to accelerate. And there's a new program helping moms care for newborns during the first months of their life. We'll explain when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Yeah, we're waking up to fairly gray skies this morning, and that gray is going to be sticking around for us. The temperature right now, 28 degrees. We're keeping those winds out of the east and northeast at about 12 miles per hour. But here's that cloud cover you'll notice really kind of streaming in off of Lake Michigan as we speak, and that'll kind of be the theme as we go through today. I do think we can see some breaks in the cloud cover later. That big storm system to our south from the weekend continues to fade away and move further and further to our south. But the cloud cover lasts for us. I do think we might see some peaks of sunshine into the afternoon. Temperatures will top out right around 33 degrees. Josh?
Thank you, Chris. It is 7:21 this morning. There's new data out showing we are spending twice as much on health care compared to people in other countries. And it's not because Americans need more medical services. According to the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, Americans pay more for drugs, doctor and nurse salaries, hospital administration costs, and other health services compared to people living in other developed countries. In fact, in 2016, each U.S. resident spent nearly $10,000 on health care. People living in other industrialized countries spent about $4,000 per person that year. As fewer people are living in rural parts of the state, fewer babies are being born there too. As a result, care options for expecting mothers are becoming slim. According to the American Medical Association, 20 of Wisconsin's 76 counties had no OBGYNs as of 2017. Data from the Rural Health Research Center at the University of Minnesota suggests that number will go up. From 2004 to 2014, 9% of rural counties across the nation lost OB services. Experts say living far away from those services can be a predictor of poor birth outcomes. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin and other Democrats are working to pass a bill aimed at bringing down rising mortality rates for moms and their newborns. The Mommies Act would expand coverage for pregnant women covered by Medicaid from 60 days to a full year after childbirth. The bill's authors say nearly half of all babies in the U.S. are born to mothers on Medicaid, and those low-income mothers are dying at the highest rate of any industrialized country in the world. In Dane County, infant mortality rates for black infants is 3 times the rate of white babies. Madison's Food Policy Council will hear more about the Mommies Act later today, as well as breastfeeding options in the city. A special program in North Carolina offers patients help during the first few months of their baby's life. 30,000 families in Durham have welcomed registered nurses into their homes as part of the Family Connects program. Dr. Tara Narula shows us how.
Nurse Jenny Jensen is delivering some extra care.
I'm going to give her a little listen.
Right to 5-month-old Cora's doorstep. She's tracking pounds and inches along with the parents' stress level.
We have had our challenges.
Can you tell me more about what was going on?
This past Sunday, I just felt sad.
Before they leave the hospital, new parents like Zawadi and Damon Walker are offered free home checkups.
I think we both had the same fear about being left to our own devices with this whole new life.
The first visit comes a few weeks after birth.
Was she sleeping too much with the breastfeeding? Is she getting enough nutrients?
In addition to organizing feeding and sleeping schedules, the nurses address safety conditions in the home, working with the pediatrician if there are health concerns.
We're able to provide evidence-based information for families.
The nurses help parents find daycare, government benefits, even the safest car seat for their baby. And the program is paying off. For every dollar spent, it's estimated $3 in healthcare costs are saved. Emergency visits for babies in Family Connects were cut in half. Duke University's Kenneth Dodge developed Family Connects.
In the long run, we found important outcomes such as lower child abuse rates and lower health care costs for emergency room visits for injuries and illnesses.
Even experienced parents are embracing the help. 3 years ago, Megan Dunphy Daly gave birth to her daughter in Washington, D.C. After the birth of son Caden in Durham last May, Megan thought she and husband Jason still had a few things to learn from an expert.
She watched me nurse him and provided advice on that. If I could have had this with my daughter, I would have been a much more confident first-time parent.
Dr. Tara Narula, CBS News.
The program's impact is being felt nationwide. 16 communities have sent nurses to be trained in Durham, and 14 more sites are being added soon. Children's Hospital outside of Milwaukee is taking extra precautions as the flu season ramps up across the state. Children under 12 are no longer allowed to visit inpatient rooms. There's no word on how long that policy will be in place, but the hope is it will prevent the virus from spreading to children who are already being treated for other conditions. Kids are expected to be more vulnerable to this year's strain of the flu. According to across the country, 13 children have died as a result of the flu so far this season. 7:26 is your time right now. The day's top stories are just ahead. Plus, we'll tell you when you can get your tickets to see the Piano Man live. And if you use the new year to get started on a new diet, you are in luck this morning. We're breaking down some of the most successful plans of 2019. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning, Sunday. Are you happy at work? If not, maybe it's time to consider a new career path. This morning, we're breaking down what some are calling the best.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to the program. It is January 13th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Reese is tracking the latest forecast heading into the work week, but first, let's get you caught up on today's headlines. Madison police are currently investigating 2 shootings from overnight. The first happened on the city's east side around 9:15 last night. Officers responded to the 1200 block of MacArthur Road after multiple calls of gunshots in that area. On scene, they found a man with a single non-threatening gunshot wound and multiple shell casings. They say the suspect got away in an unknown vehicle. Officers then responded to another call on Madison's north side in the 800 block of Wheeler Road. That was around 3:45 this morning. Multiple callers again reported hearing gunshots. A home was actually hit by a bullet this time, and several shell casings were found on scene. No one was injured this time, but again, anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police. The dismantling of the old Bradley Center in Milwaukee will move forward a lot faster when contractors use a targeted explosive this morning to demolish some of the remaining roof. As a precaution, crews have installed vibration monitors at historic Turner Hall across the street, and the Bradley Center will be soaked with water to help with the dust. The Bucks moved to the Pfizer Forum this season after 30 years at the Bradley Center. They're out of town until Tuesday. Tickets go on sale this week to see the Piano Man live at Miller Park. Billy Joel returns to Milwaukee this spring on Friday, April 26th. Joel hasn't been to Milwaukee in 11 years and has never performed at Miller Park. American Express card holders can get their tickets starting tomorrow. The rest will be available to the general public on Friday. 7:31 is your time, and it's also time to say good morning to the birthday boy, Mr. Chris Reese in the Weather Center. Hey, Chris.
Why, thank you, Josh. Good morning. Good morning to all of you guys watching. Of course, it is a cloudy morning out there and just gray. We've been gray all weekend. The temperatures, though, have held steady right around 28 degrees. There's a little breeze coming out of the east and northeast at 12 miles per hour. That's bringing in some of that cloud cover off of Lake Michigan this morning. That'll likely be the case going into the afternoon as well. But I do think some drier air will work in, and that should allow for at least some peaks of sunshine going hour by hour. Here we are right around 11:30. Temperatures closer towards 29 degrees at that point. You can see that cloud cover coming in from that fetch off the lake there. That cloud cover continues into the afternoon. Temperatures top out right around 32. Once the sun begins to set, that's when I do think we have the best chance, at least, of seeing some more sunshine. But as you do plan your day, I do think we might see some of those peaks of sunshine again earlier in the afternoon, but the best chance will come much closer towards the evening. First alert traffic, a lot of folks getting ready to head out the door for your Sunday. Here's how things are shaping up. This is East Wash at Highway 30. Things are moving smoothly. That's what we like to see. No major issues showing up across Madison or really Dane County on this Sunday morning. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. The U.S. News and World Report is out with its 2019 list of the best jobs in America. The rankings are based on 7 factors, including median salary, future job prospects, stress level, and work-life balance. Software developer tops the list. It's followed by statistician, physician assistant, and dentist. The median salary for a software developer is more than $101,000. The number of jobs in that field is expected to increase by nearly 1/3 by 2026. From the best jobs to the best diets, nearly half of all of Americans have resolved to slim down and shape up in the new year. But what's the most effective way to do just that? Adriana Weingold weighs in on the best ways to lose weight in 2019.
New year, new you. For many people, the start of the year means life changes like diet and exercise. So what are the best diets of 2019? The Mediterranean diet comes in at number 1, according to U.S. News and World Report. The diet includes lots of plants, whole grains, healthy fats like olive oil and lean proteins. Registered dietitian Maria Fisk agrees.
You know, the Mediterranean diet, I think over all the diets that we've been talking about through the years, is about the healthiest out there.
Number 2 on the list is the DASH diet, designed to lower blood pressure by lowering sodium intake and eating mostly fruits and vegetables, low-fat dairy, whole grains, and lean protein. Frank Schuler is 83 years old. He started dieting after being diagnosed with coronary heart disease. He's lost more than 100 pounds.
Very, very good. And I can tell when I cheat a little bit on it. Suddenly I feel a little sluggish, a little tired, you know, and as soon as I get right back on it, I'm okay.
Schuler sticks to a low-carb, low-fat diet and makes sure to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. He also exercises regularly. Coming in at number 3 on the list of best diets is flexitarian, or flexible vegetarians. The diet calls for significantly reducing meat intake while eating mostly plant-based. Experts say it's good for weight loss and lowering the risk of chronic conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cancer.
New Year is 240 days of working out, detox cleanses, and just focusing on, eating the right things.
Last but not least is the MIND diet. It combines aspects of the DASH and Mediterranean diets with the goal of improving brain health. Whether your goal is weight loss or improved health, experts say it's always important to stay active and consult a doctor before starting a new diet and exercise plan.
New estimates show how many adults in the United States are affected by food allergies. New research shows that it is more common than previously thought to develop allergies as an adult. More than 40,000 adults were surveyed. 1 in 10 have a food allergy, and nearly half developed at least an allergy as an adult. But researchers also found many adults believe they are allergic to foods when they're likely suffering from food intolerance or a health condition.
Patients need to get a proper diagnosis so that if they are at risk of severe reactions, they're prepared to deal with them. It's also important because it can be misdiagnosed, or people can think they're allergic to the wrong things and avoid foods unnecessarily.
With adult onset allergy had very serious reactions that sent them to the ER. 7:36 right now. Still to come, when you believe you can fly. That's the tagline for the Broadway musical Finding Neverland. The touring production of the musical is currently at the Overture. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage of this magical story when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns. Welcome back. The Broadway musical Finding Neverland is inspired by the 1998 play The Man Who Was Peter Pan and the Oscar-winning movie of the same name. The musical played on Broadway for 17 months, and the road production is hitting the Overture Theater stage this weekend. Michael Bruno goes backstage of Finding Neverland to learn about the boy who never grows up.
The doctor could save only just one life. Pain and from misery, that's what I want to be. I would sail all around the world for life, a discovery, that is the life for me. If I could write every single day, I would write all my cares away. I'd be leading a different life, a wonderful life.
There are 6 boys. Each of us play 2 or 3 parts. I play 3 parts. I play George, Peter, and Jack. And during the rehearsal process, trying to learn all 3 parts was kind of difficult because one day, as soon as you think you have one part down and you know all the lines and you have all the blocking, the next day you're doing a different part and it's completely different.
What you wanna be.
Did you have to learn how to play the ukulele?
I did have to learn how to play the ukulele. The first 3 weeks of rehearsal was a lot of repetition of just going through the music and the song and learning all the chords and trying to play them without looking, and also having fun during the song because it's kind of a cheering up song for Peter.
I noticed that there's a lot of choreography in the show as well. So how difficult is that to think, okay, well, I'm playing this part, so I have to do this dance move in this part of the stage, then all of a sudden I have to play this kid doing that dance move on that side of the stage.
It is very difficult, especially in the dinner party scene. There's a 20 to 30 second dance break in the middle of it, and each of the parts has relatively the same movement, yet it's either flip-flopped or reversed or facing a different way or with a different person. So that also contributes to the trying to learn different parts.
Did you always want to be in musical theater? Was that like a dream of yours for like years and years and years?
I actually started doing musical theater when I was 6 or 7. So through those 7 years, I was always I loved musical theater. I loved the thought of singing and pretending to be someone else and having that mindset of I'm not myself anymore and I just get to portray this role of a different character.
Once the tour is over with this one, do you think you're going to audition for another tour, or will you go back to school and just kind of leave the normal life of a kid?
There is a possibility that at the end of the tour, they could add another 4 months to the contract, or after I end the tour, they could ask me to be on another tour or show. But I do plan on just kind of staying in normal school and living a normal life. At my age, there's not really any other parts for me to play, with like going through the voice change and growing. It's just kind of that stage where there's not really many parts that you can play right now. So it'll be a nice break of theater after this.
You can catch Finding Neverland at the Overture Center today. There are still tickets to 2 shows available. The first is at 1 and the other at 6:30. You can buy them at the ticket office or online at overture.org. We checked it out yesterday. It was super cute, so I encourage you to go see it. 7:43 is your time right now. It certainly remains quiet in the upper Midwest while a major winter storm is slamming areas to our south. Not much to look at as we take a live look outside at the Capitol this morning. Chris is in next with your full work week forecast coming up. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for waking up with us on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
And quiet weather continues for us here in south central Wisconsin, although that's been a different story just to our south. Really throughout the entire weekend, we have been watching a major winter storm that put down a lot of snow for friends very close to us. In fact, another town in Missouri just came in with over 20 inches of snow for their snowfall report from the system. Now, here is where that sharp cutoff was, just south of Madison, and we are kind of dry when it comes to the snow depth across parts of central Wisconsin along with southeastern Minnesota. No shortage of the cold air, though. That is certainly there. The temperature right now, 28 degrees. Really, 20s and low 30s are the case all across south central Wisconsin this morning. There is one place in the single digits. That is our friends up in Rylander right now. 28 for us. Of course, we do have the cloudy skies and winds out of the east and northeast at about 12 miles per hour. That's going to continue going through most of the day. I think we'll see some added cloud cover coming off of the lake, or coming off of Lake Michigan into the afternoon. Temperatures will top out right around 32 degrees. Then I think we'll see some sunshine. The cloud cover will begin to thin out closer towards sunset. Temperatures then will drop towards about 21 degrees. Then winds turn out of the southwest into your early Monday. Temperatures warm up into the middle and upper 30s. In fact, we could be close to 40 for your Tuesday. Then another front comes in midweek, followed by another front by next weekend. That one could truly deliver some of the coldest air we have seen so far. The colder air over Canada right now. By midweek, watch how close that gets to southern Wisconsin. And then we watch the dip come on right in to the eastern half of the country by next weekend. Even that retreats, but then we see another one already working its way on in. The moral of the story, as we go through the end of the month and into February, we do have a 40 to 60% probability of being below average when it comes to temperature, but we'd also have a 40 to 50% probability of being above average in terms of precipitation. So that could mean that we see more snow chances around here. I'm not watching any major storms as of yet. 28 to 32 as we go throughout the morning, topping out right around 33 degrees for those highs this afternoon. Sunshine, though, does take over as we begin to start the work week. We do have at least a chance of some flurries as we get you towards Wednesday. Another snow chance towards next weekend and towards Martin Luther King Day as well. So again, those chances will become more frequent. Speaking of snow chances, look at Natalie and Stoughton, looking very stoic in that vest.
Is that some snow there,
That is some snow that the dog is standing in. So no snow if you are walking your dog later on this afternoon, but temperatures will be cold enough for it, right around 32.
You know, I tried to get you a birthday present. I tried to get you some birthday snowfall, but Mother Nature just wasn't having it.
That's okay. I had to go to Iowa for it. It was still a good time. I'll count that as your gift, Josh.
I saw you got the snow angels in and everything.
I did everything. Yeah, I had a great time.
Well, happy birthday to you, and you're even working on your birthday. How about that?
It's a treat.
You're a go-getter.
At least I like my job.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Anytime.
Well, if you've noticed more stink bugs around your home in the past week, you are certainly not alone. They awaken from the winter slumber when temps get near 50 degrees, like they did earlier this week. But even on a sunny, colder day, they might get moving. UW Extension entomologist told the Journal Sentinel they don't bite, they're not poisonous, but they do stink. If you squish them in your hand, it's not a smell that washes away. Some reported stink bug hotspots are in Madison, Milwaukee, and the Fox Valley area. If they're already in your home, you can't do much about it. Experts say the time to prepare is during the fall by closing gaps where insects can get inside and spraying insecticide outside of your home. 7:50 is your time. Stay with News 3 this weekend for the latest breaking stories. And then tomorrow on News 3 this morning, I'll be talking about the nursing shortage and how a local hospice center is working to change that. But first on our news this morning is the wish of a lifetime. After 90 years of laughs, loss, and a whole lot of memories, a brave woman embarks on one of the most thrilling and dangerous missions of her life. We are going skydiving when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues. And welcome back on this Sunday morning. Well, a woman with a heroic past is about to embark on the second most dangerous mission of her life, all thanks to an organization called Wish of a Lifetime.
David Bagnog takes us along to tell us the story.
This is Marguerite. Hello.
Marguerite Miller is about to be granted her highest wish.
We're going to be going up to almost 13,000 feet.
Oh, okay.
At age 90, she's going skydiving.
I was hoping it was high enough so I can stay up there as long as possible.
Excellent.
She has wanted to do this since she was a teenager, when she first witnessed bravery during World War II.
I just remember those days. Yeah, we lived in Normandy. Our house was bombed down. We lost everything.
Marguerite, her mother, and her mother's friend risked their lives as part of the French resistance to the Nazis. They saved 17 members of the Allied forces, including 8 U.S. airmen, by hiding them in their apartment after the men were shot down.
When they were shot down over Paris, we see some coming down in parachutes, you know. And then afterwards, we had the stories of all the airmen that we had in our apartment told us how they escaped.
Is there one that you remember?
Oh, all of them. All of them. And we found out they all arrived back safely in this country.
And now it was Marguerite's turn to experience what it feels like to parachute out of a plane.
Yeah, I wanted to feel like what my husband experienced and lots of the airmen that we had.
Her husband, Ed Miller, was an American airman who was also shot down over France during the war. Now, 74 years after Allied airmen parachuted in to liberate her homeland, she floats freely above the United States of America, which today is her home.
What are we to take away from what you and your mother did?
Well, you must always help your country as much as you can and be proud. It was wonderful.
David Begno, CBS News, Homestead, Florida.
Are you going to do that on your 90th birthday?
I don't know. I just can't believe she's 90 years old and has more of a life than me right now.
She looks great.
I know. I think I'm older than she is right now. I can't believe she is doing that. But she does look great for her age. Speaking of what looks great, that's going to be our forecast going through the week. More sunshine does return to the picture. Temperatures will be on a milder note as well, closer to 40 degrees by the time we get you towards Tuesday. So take it or leave it. A cold front comes in as we head into Wednesday. That has the potential to bring some flurries our way. I'm not too sold on that, but nonetheless, at least the chance is there. By Thursday, more sunshine, staying probably right around 32 degrees. A chance for snow does arrive by next weekend. It doesn't look like a big deal, but we have another chance for snow by Martin Luther King Day, and check it out. We'll be struggling to get out of the teens.
Temp sliced in half there.
Yes, we are going down in the temperature department.
All right, happy birthday, Chris, and thanks for joining us. Make it a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.